Welcome, everybody. We are welcoming our attendees one by one, getting into the virtual room. Thank you for being with us on a Saturday morning.
Indeed.
Well, Saturday morning for many of you, but also can be in the afternoon for some of you from what I can see.
And maybe even the evening.
Even the evening, yes,
Right.
indeed. Okay, so we're going to start. Welcome to everybody. My name is Audrey, and I am the admissions manager for the MBA program at the International University of Monaco. Thank you very much for attending this live webinar, the counseling session with Dr. Marika Taishoff. This is a virtual chat, meaning that actually you will be able to ask any question you may have to Marika. So first we're going to start with a very quick presentation about the MBA program, and then you'll be able to start with your questions. Marika, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Audrey, and welcome everyone, wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us. So here you can see a beautiful picture of Monaco, also behind me. So you all know why you want to do an MBA, right? You want to switch careers, you want to fast track your career, you might want to move into a different industry, a different sector, you might have an idea to build your own business. So there are very many good, valid reasons to do an MBA. Why do it here? Well, Monaco is a very special place. I have been here for about 12 years now, and it has an expertise, it has long had an expertise, when I say long, I mean for over 150 years, an expertise in the management of luxury, in particular luxury services. It certainly has an expertise in terms of wealth management and private banking. And also it's a very entrepreneurial state. It has always encouraged an entrepreneurial mindset. And lately, thanks to the initiatives of the government and His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, there have been many, many initiatives to further encourage entrepreneurship within the Principality with accelerators and incubators, etc. So Monaco is very special. In terms of our program in particular, you have the option of following it in one of two ways. You can do it full-time, which basically means you're here in Monaco over 10 months, or if you're working or you find it difficult to leave your country, etc., you can also do it part-time, which is essentially an online program. We do also have some part-time students who are residential, and these are typically individuals who are working in the area and they're actually following some of the courses residentially and the others online. Certainly you want your program to be accredited by the Association of MBAs, AMBA, which we are and have been for many, many years now. So that's always something you have to look for. We also have a very, very strong career and personal development program. You'll have your own coach, leadership coach, executive coach will meet with you on a regular basis. And last but not least, we've been ranked in The Economist Which MBA, 100 top MBA programs in the world for many years now. And this past year, in fact, we jumped up 38 places. We are now number 33 in the world and number 10 in Europe for MBA programs. Okay, Monaco, very quickly, if you don't know it, or even if you do, aside from what we all think about Monaco, the Grand Prix, etc., it's a very dynamic, very economically diverse and successful principality. The environment is growing for all businesses here. It's also a very well-known venue for conferences, for congresses the world over. And of course, it's on the French Riviera, which makes it quite nice. And if you can't come to Monaco in the immediate, I mean, we all know what COVID has done, we also can make sure that Monaco comes to you. So, wherever you might be, I'm sure we've all had to suffer the inconvenience, let's say, of the pandemic, to put it lightly. In March, we turned swiftly, automatically to the online mode. For the MBA program at IUM, it was fairly easy. We've always had an online program at IUM, so it was quite quick and seamless to take all of our courses and move them online. We also had webinars with local business professionals, so one could still interact with the Monaco business community. We had webinar series in luxury with executives from the sector. We did online projects, a project which began with one of the leading private banks here in Monaco, which began residentially, had to all of a sudden switch to be a virtual project. And the students had, for the most part, gone back home. So we had a student working in Swaziland and South Africa and Italy and France, in Monaco, all working together virtually on this project, together with the top executives of this bank. So basically, we've managed to bring Monaco to you, even during those rather difficult times in March. Okay, the who. So certainly in terms of faculty, you'll be taught by well-renowned researchers and pedagogical experts who are part of our permanent faculty. We also have visiting faculty from some of the leading business schools in a variety of excuse me, in a variety of topics. So for instance, we'll be having a gentleman from Cambridge University who will come and teach the course on the circular economy and impact investing. And finally, we also have professionals who come and give courses as well. So for instance, a course in venture capital and entrepreneurial finance will be taught by a gentleman who actually has a firm in venture capital and entrepreneurial finance here in Monaco. The course in wealth management is taught by a man who has a wealth management firm in Monaco as well. So we try to bring in the best of the theoretical and academic with the applied and the professional. You'll also have mentors, which is very unique just for the MBA students. And the mentors are selected by our career development division. And basically you will be paired with someone very experienced, very professional from a sector or a position that you would like to ultimately be in. So this way you can sort of exchange ideas, sort of a good sounding board for you. And the mentors also like to meet with our students. And as I said, we have career and executive coaches as well. Okay, I already mentioned this. We have 2 modes in terms of how: residential and distant, 10 months to 20 months. Within those, if those 2-year programs, and we'll go over this in more detail, you will have to spend 4 weeks in Monaco if you decide to opt for the part-time program. And here, in terms of this, the kinds of courses we have, et cetera, the structure, basically, to a certain extent, it is as any well-designed MBA program should be structured, giving you a view of the big picture, what's happening in the world, how can it impact business, spotting and growing opportunities in terms of what kind of resources do we need, financial resources, human resources, et cetera. And then, of course, integrating it all, which basically is the final project. You'll have a business simulation to do at the end of the course, and end of the program. And you will also have either a corporate consulting project, which is a project given to us by companies. So I mentioned last year we had a project with a leading private bank here in Monaco. And basically students are given a project much as a consulting team from McKinsey or BCG or Bain would be given a project. We also had projects with Pernod Ricard, which is of course a big wines and spirits company, global. We had a project with Lufthansa. So companies come to us and basically give our MBA students projects to work on. The students work very closely with the actual executives of the company involved. Or if you prefer and you already have a business idea in mind, you can work on your business plan as part of your overall curriculum here at IOM. So in other words, it wouldn't be something you'd be doing on the side. It would be built into your time frame, into your scheduling, and you would be working together with faculty, as well as frequently with investors from outside university, investors, entrepreneurs, who take an interest in many of our students' projects. So they basically provide advice and insight. And we even had one student who was actually backed financially a couple of years ago by one of his advisors. Okay, so this is sort of what it looks like in 10 months. We start sort of towards the end of September and we end, let's say, end June. And you can see these are just sort of the modules. So courses in functional management, for instance, would include marketing strategy, accounting and financial analysis, organizational behavior. In other words, sort of the basics that one needs to basically think about how to grow, both externally and internally. Core managerial responsibilities would be data, big data, decision-making, organizational design, change management, etc. Then in the spring, which is a much longer term, as you can see, there are more modules, thinking strategically, the new business development, managing in complex environments, integrated decision-making. So there are courses in each one of those modules. And you also have optional electives. So when I mention optional electives, this is if you are interested, let's say, in luxury in particular, okay? Maybe you want to set up a business in luxury, maybe you want to work in luxury, maybe you just want to explore what luxury is all about. You may, if you want, take electives in luxury services, luxury brand management, luxury consumer behavior. It's not mandatory, but we certainly encourage it if you're interested. Similarly, if you're interested in finance, especially wealth management, you may take electives in the field of wealth management itself, mergers and acquisitions, real estate investing, entrepreneurial finance, and venture capital. So again, these are optional, and they typically start, as you can see, in the spring. Okay, the part-time 20-month program is basically split in half. So obviously the workload is halved, because if you're doing it part-time, that suggests that you're doing something else with the other part of your time, which is typically working. So it's basically split in half. And as you can see on this table, there are masterclass weeks. And here it looks like there are 6, but it's basically just to give you an idea in terms of what we strongly recommend you do. So the masterclass weeks are special weeks. They're designed around special themes. So we just had one, as you can see, there was one in January. We just had one which was all about networking and meeting mentors. The next one, which will be in May, will be about entrepreneurship and business plans. And the first one, which is typically the first week of class, is the orientation week. So during those weeks, we have the introduction of certain courses, as well as special events, special presentations, to basically bring together the part-time students and the full-time students in the same space where they can interact with one another, because it's one cohort, just 2 different time frames, and also explore a bit of what makes Monaco special. So we have members of the government, members of the Chamber of Commerce, etc., coming and also giving speeches and interacting with our students. And again, there are 4 residential weeks, and they must be taken over the 2-year period. They're not consecutive, as you can see. And you can basically choose, although the first year we recommend you do the one in September, and then perhaps the one in January, but you could also do the one in May. And the second year, again, what's important is the last masterclass week can only be done at the end of the second year, okay, for the part-time students. For the full-time students, all of the weeks obviously are built into their agenda.
Thank you very much, Marika, for this very interesting presentation. Before we move to the questions, just a few words about the admissions. So as I know already some of you, because some of you contacted me by email or even started an application. So just for info, you have here my email address and my phone number. Don't hesitate to contact me anytime to get any information regarding the university and the MBA program. I'll be happy to assist you. So now we're going to start with the questions, and I received one from Karina with us today. Karina would like to know if we offer bursaries or other financial support for the international students for the program. And Marika, I can answer that one if you want. We do have scholarships indeed. Basically, for all the programs at IUM, we have merit-based scholarships, meaning that we grant scholarships according to the file of a student, like the overall file. We consider, of course, your academic level, but also your CV, your professional experience, and what you did outside of the classroom, like if you're a sportsman or an artist, or if you work for charity. This is something that we are going to take into consideration for the merit-based scholarships. Merit-based scholarships for the MBA rank from 5,000 to 8,000 euros in general, depending on your profile. Now, especially for the MBA program, not for any other, we have launched last year the Entrepreneur Scholarship. So the Entrepreneur Scholarship is dedicated, as its name says, to entrepreneurs who already have a very nice business plan and who would like to implement their business in Monaco. The scholarship ranks from 10,000 to 5,000 euros, depending on whether you can set up your company in Monaco, whether your project fits with the ecosystem of Monaco. So you can apply for that one. There will be only one delivered, granted in the end. So we receive many files actually for that scholarship. But I mean, if you are an entrepreneur and you're willing to set up your business in the Principality, don't hesitate also to apply for that entrepreneurship webinar. For this entrepreneurship scholarship, which is actually the one really dedicated to the MBA students, to the MBA profiles. So this is what I can tell you about the financial support that we do offer to the students. We now have a question regarding the innovation, Marika. Elena would like to know if we have any experience with biotechnology, and she says particularly given COVID-19 times, is there any startup incubator in Monaco? Oh, you're mute, Marika.
Sorry, thank you. There was a siren in the background, so I decided to mute myself. Okay, great. Excellent question, Elena. So certainly in terms of biotech, this is one of the favored, shall we say, projects that the Monegasque government is trying to promote through its various, shall we say, incubators and accelerators. So there's something called Monaco Tech, which is a government-based incubator and accelerator with whom IUM and the MBA program in particular has a long-standing relationship, well, ever since it was founded about two or 3 years ago. There's another incubator, which is more privately set up, which is called the Monaco Foundry. And in any case, I know that Monaco is promoting projects that revolve around, let's say, tech. So biotech, fintech, medtech, etc. And it's interesting that you asked the question because we have a student. She just graduated last year. She's originally French, but she's been living in Boston for many years now. So she did it part-time. And she is a chemist and has a PhD in biotech, in fact. And her project for the MBA was to set up a special, shall we say, a startup related to biotech, related in particular to certain kinds of medicinal uses, especially for muscles, etc. I can't go into more detail. And it has been incubated by here in Monaco. So she was supposed to come, but then with the COVID, she couldn't get over here, etc. But her plan is still to come here and actually set it up here in Monaco. But she actually worked on this project from the very beginning. She did the marketing plan for it, the strategic plan, the business plan. All of this was integrated into her curriculum, which is another aspect of our program. We encourage that. So for my course in marketing strategy, if you have a business plan or a business idea in mind, I say, well, your project for me will do the marketing plan for that project. So, students basically throughout the year are building up their overall business plan. So anyway, this young lady has very successfully completed her MBA, worked on her business plan, has set up the business, and has been incubated. And this is all, biotech. So indeed, Monaco is certainly looking for projects of that nature and is very supportive of them. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Marika. Actually, you were talking about the COVID-19 and the pandemic, and actually I have a question regarding the classes. What do they look like right now, actually? Do you only have classes online, or what's a typical day of an MBA student?
Okay, great question. So in fact, as I mentioned, in March last year when COVID hit, everything moved online. And actually, as I said, everything went well, relatively speaking. Students completed their programs, they did their projects, etc. This year, fortunately here in Monaco, the COVID situation is not as dire as in many other nations or cities, etc. So for the MBAs, we basically opened up residentially. That being said, we also have students who are part-time students who cannot be here residentially. Maybe they didn't get a visa. Maybe they don't want to in any case because they're part-time students and maybe they're based in Boston or in Denver or in Moscow, etc. So those students follow the courses online. All of our courses now are live streamed with an interactive system. So students online can actually follow, they see the slides, they hear the discussion, they can ask questions, they can respond to questions, etc. So it's highly interactive. And also, shall we say, these recordings are then uploaded onto the platform. So even if a student was unable to attend a session live because of a time zone different issue or a work issue, that student would still have access to the complete, shall we say, recording of the class session. So right now, I think in terms of number of students we have in class, it depends again on the class because we have first-year part-time students and we also have second-year part-time students, and they work together with the full-time students. So I'd say, in class about maybe 12, 15, some classes will be smaller, maybe, 8. And then let's say another 12 or so online. And they work together, as I said, it's one cohort. So that means that basically it's just the duration that differs and the number of courses that the students take will differ. But the groups are deliberately blended. So full-time students work with the part-time students. We feel that's a much richer experience. In fact, the full-time students this year are working with part-time year 1 and part-time year 2 students in different courses.
Okay, thank you, Marika, for those insights. I received a question also regarding the specializations. Can you tell us about the different specializations, if there are any possibilities in the MBA program, please?
Okay, so the specializations are primarily revolve around the electives. And the specialization, basically the tracks are luxury, or wealth management. And as I said, they're entirely optional. So students can specialize in luxury by following the electives in luxury, or they can specialize in finance or wealth management by following the electives in wealth management. We used to have a track as well in entrepreneurship as a specialized track, but we've noticed that more and more of the applicants who join the MBA program are interested in entrepreneurship in any case. And we feel it's vital today, even in a corporation, what recruiters are looking for, people who have with an entrepreneurial mindset. You know, how can we change the business model? How can we change the way we do things, etc. So that entrepreneurship is now a core course. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Marika. I received a question here actually from Peter from Switzerland, and he's asking me actually regarding the practical approach, because it says on your website, I could see that your program is a very hands-on one. Can you tell us a bit more about the practical approach of the IUM in the MBA program?
Okay, so what we try to do as much as possible is sort of bring in what another business school calls real world learning. So we feel that at the MBA level, what students really need to do and really want to do is not simply memorize theories and formulae, etc. That's important at a younger level. At an MBA level, and if you know our students, we require a minimum of 3 years work experience. The average work experience is about 9 years. So these are individuals who are professionals and who want to see, how does this theory apply to me in my business, in my career, to what I want to do in the future. So we use case studies, obviously, but that's, you know, I think any decent business school, any MBA program today relies significantly on case studies, which allow students to debate, interact, etc. We also try to actually encourage the use of real projects within our courses. So as I mentioned, you know, amongst other things, I teach the marketing strategy course to the MBAs, and we were lucky enough to actually have a, every year we get a project, actually. So last year, the TEDx Monte Carlo team, I'm sure you're all familiar with TEDx, the TEDx Talks, they actually asked our MBA students to do a marketing plan of sorts, not so much to attract audiences, but to attract sponsors. So the students work on an actual marketing plan for an actual company or organization with an actual need. And this year we did a project with the Princess Grace Foundation, which is based in New York, obviously associated with Princess Grace. It's a foundation which identifies and supports young artists in the United States. And it's been in existence for many, many years now. And also there's a new CEO, a new marketing team there. And they also asked our students to work on a project for them in terms of, shall we say, repositioning the Princess Grace Foundation as a brand that's attractive to younger people around the world, et cetera. So that's another, you know, we look at the theory in class, we look at, you know, segmentation, positioning, and marketing mix, and customer experience management, but then we see how can we apply it to a real world situation. And I know this happens in other courses as well.
Indeed. Thank you, Marika. Actually, time flies, and the webinar is almost to its end. So don't hesitate if you have any further question. Just maybe I have a few questions here that I received from you before the session. But I need to select one, and I will answer all the others by email for sure. But maybe for the last one, Marika, I can resist to ask you what makes the Monaco MBA different from the others MBA in the world?
Very good question. And I have many ideas about that. I mentioned it's based in Monaco, and that is a huge difference. It's very easy for our MBA students to interact with the Monaco business community, which is a very dynamic business community. I mean, some people have a superficial idea about Monaco. It's just, you know, the casino and the yachts. Yes, okay, that's part of what Monaco is. But there's also a very thriving business community, and many successful companies and executives are based here. I'm originally from New York City, so I know New York City is a thriving business community, or at least it was pre-COVID. But it's difficult in a big city to actually get to meet people because it's just too big. People don't have time, etc. Here, it's quite easy thanks to the relationships that IUM has within Monaco, with the business community, with the Chamber of Commerce, with the governmental community, etc. So that makes it different. Looking at our rankings, let's say in the Economist, which just came out a few days ago, and as I said, we jumped up 38 places to be number 33, and the rankings themselves, if you look at them in granular detail, how are they actually, you know, contrived? And, we were very, very strong in such things as, the overall environment pedagogical experience. We were ranked like number 8 or something in the world for that. So that's another element. And I think it's because we're a small school, deliberately small, in a deliberately small place called the Principality of Monaco. And that means there's a lot of interaction, the open door policy. Students get to know all their faculty, they get to know each other. It's not like being in a program with 100 students where you never really get to know anyone. And certainly the professors don't have time to get to know you as individuals and, take an interest in your career plans, because with 100 students, in a classroom, it's just impossible. So this also makes our program different, I would say. Also, I'd say the diversity. Again, I've been in different business schools around Europe in particular, and we have a very diverse student body across the university, but especially in the MBA. And when I say diverse, I mean in terms of in gender, in terms of nationalities, in terms of multicultural backgrounds, in terms of professional backgrounds and career aspirations. So it's extremely diverse, which adds to the richness of the program, and I think to the overall learning experience as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Marika. So as I said, don't worry, for those of you who sent questions beforehand, I will be happy to get back to you by email. Thank you very much, Marika, for this presentation and for your answers today, your insights, and thanks to all our attendees for being with us today. Thank you very much and hope to see you soon in Monaco.
Thank you very much. Good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, good weekend.